Friday, and welcome to the weekly recap number 123. As you already noticed, my recap partner in crime, Rick, is not here today. He's enjoying some time off. Right, Safiya? You know what I'm
Well
talking
deserved,
about.
yeah.
But I have three special guests, or should I say two special guests, as you are regular, Safiya, right?
This is the fourth
Um,
time on the recap. No
so that
introductions needed.
Yes, that's not
Yeah.
a special guest. You're a regular. But I do have Brandon and Joe with us, both of them Beamers and MVPs. Thank you both for accepting my invite. And this is your first time taking part of that, right? We were just talking about it
Yes.
earlier that you, Joe, you are making it with your articles, your blogs to the weekly recap, but this is your first time being part
First
of
time.
the recap.
Absolutely.
So that's
Rick, I
great.
made it. I made it, Rick. Hi, I hope you enjoyed your vacation. I made it.
Yeah. So why don't you give us an introduction of yourself?
Yeah,
Joe, would you like
yeah,
to
sure.
start telling us about
Yeah,
your role at Veeam as
yeah.
well as your journey as an MVP?
Absolutely. Hey guys, my name is Joe Gramillion. I am what's called a senior regional solutions architect here at Veeam Software. I cover the central region of the United States. I'm on the engineering team. I provide high level knowledge, deep level knowledge for Veeam products. I also help with developing architectures, trainings, all kinds of stuff within the Veeam SE organization. So it's pretty cool being an MVP. How I made an MVP is really kind of cool, man. I mean, it's doing stuff I love to do, right? I do additional trainings outside of just the architectures for people, right? I do trainings we have internal training seminars that I do. I do presentations at all our different monthly trainings sometimes. I've worked on internal training videos that we pass out to the team, but I also create content that we use for training at VeeamON, right? Also I post on community forums and just basic community stuff as an employee. Some of it, with the employee internally and some of it externally, right? I really enjoy it.
Thank you for that, Joe. Yeah, definitely. You are doing a great job, even at the Community Hub. You are always active, as I was mentioning earlier. Brandon, would you like to give an introduction of yourself?
I sure would. Thanks, Madeline. So, hi, Brandon McCoy. I am a advisor for the Inside Systems Engineering team. I support our Veeam Cloud and Service Provider team. I've been here for 6 years. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. And, my story is interesting, I feel, because I didn't come from an IT background. Before Veeam, I was bagging groceries at a grocery store. And somehow, some way, I landed into this role, and look at me now. So I made it to MVP this year. It was my second year of trying, and I do my own YouTube series for how-to videos for MSPs. I also have a creative side, so I am a rapper or MC or whatever you want to call it. So I like to do some rap songs. You may have seen a couple of those here and there. But yeah, I was one of the first inside SEs to start in the VCSP organization before it grew into what it is today, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for that, Brandon. Thank you, both of you. Great to have you in this special edition. And today we have a lot of great content that we are going to share with our community. And there is also a surprise at the end. So stay tuned for that until the end of the show. You don't want to miss on that one, right, Brandon?
That's right.
Great. So let's start then with some of the articles that we prepared for today. We selected three. We decided not to break the rule, even though Joe wanted to break the rule.
She wouldn't let
But
me. Dang it.
yeah, we didn't allow him today. So let's start with Michael Spall's article. Let me just go over it. I'm going to just give you an overview of what Michael is presenting in here. He's talking about a very interesting topic, that being features for managing Veeam agent on Microsoft Windows and Linux OS offered by Veeam Backup and Replication. And specifically in this article, he's actually tackling on Linux plus Veeam backup and replication agent management. And he's mentioning that Veeam's documentation lacks information on supported operating systems for creating agent protection groups. So I would like to go a bit deeper into that with you guys. And this is like a potential risk. And he says, like, without clarity on targeted OS via mechanisms like CSV or Active Directory objects, it's difficult to actually ensure functionality. So he takes the matter in his hands and explores automating scalable Linux protection groups, and then he's documenting the findings. Now, like my question to you is, what do you think about his findings and the demo in here? Also, like, yeah, now as you can see, like Michael Paul is using a test environment, and this is a good practice. We all know never do something like that in your production environment. And I'm sure you all agree on that. But let's go back to my question.
So first of all, another great blog post by Michael Pohl. I really like this, and I try every week. I try to get whenever I write a blog, I try to get on the weekly recap, but it's hard getting past this guy. I think he needs to be in the Hall of Fame for blogs, right? But this is a great blog post, like you said, right? The thing that we have is, I don't see this too often with people trying to put Linux in Active Directory, right? And truthfully, I wasn't even sure if it would work out right, but he's done a great job going through his lab, right, and demoing how how you could have all your Linux boxes showing up in Active Directory, how to create the groups so that they would be dynamic when you add new reports, new objects to them, and that they pull them into the job, and then being able to actually authenticate all these through Active Directory while you're pushing the agents to it, which is fantastic. I think he's done a really good job here. And then I love having the demos here with a nice, great big step here so you can actually see what's going on, right? And he even talked about an error down here that he had and they had to get around and made it work. So I'm really, really happy with this. And I think I'm going to maybe use some of this sometime and actually try it in my lab.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, I always like these articles that use demos because then it's so easy to put it in practice, right? So absolutely, yeah, right. Really great job, really great article. Yep. Thank you for that one, Michael. Yep. So moving further to Gabriel. Gabriel is actually a Veeamer as well. And I promised him, this is an older article, but I promised him that if he writes about this, I'm going to mention it in the recap. Being on the road of the past weeks, I didn't have the opportunity to do it. So I'm taking now the opportunity and mention it. Gabriel is talking about how using AWS tags can help you managing your resources. And an important thing that he's mentioning in here is that you should not store any sensitive information on tags. The main goal with AWS tags is to provide you an easy way to manage billing and administration services. So just keep that in mind. Now, my question for you, Brandon, Joe, is do you use AWS tags and what do you think of the examples Gabriel is sharing with us? Do you have any other use cases? What would be your takeaway on that one?
Yeah, so I can start us off here. So I do use AWS pretty extensively. I think in the AWS Solution Architect Associate exam, tags are a big portion of that. And a lot of times tags get overlooked. It makes me think of other products we use too, like vSphere tags, how that synchronizes with VeeamON. And it's a really great way to just make sure that, whatever you want to be in a certain policy is. So for instance, if you're doing backups and you have a tag called no backup, and those machines don't get added to a backup, you're aware that you're not missing a backup. It's just those aren't supposed to be backed up. All right. And you can take it further, just like he was saying, is, you can put them into departments or groups or different teams or locations. And I think it becomes very useful. If you look at our product, Veeam Backup for AWS, tagging is also crucial there. You want to make sure that you're doing intelligent type of backups. So one question I often get asked is there any kind of intelligent backup, so that you're not missing machines, not getting things added? Tags is a great way to do backups. Do backups by tags so that whatever you create, in this case, an EC2 instance or an EBS volume. There's tags associated to those so that you know where they are and what kind of policies should be applied to them. So tags is something that gets overlooked oftentimes, but I think it's super important for any business in terms of organization.
Great, thank you for
I'm
that
going to break your
input.
rule. I'm going to break your rule because I want to comment on this, right? Also, the nice thing about this is he's recommending we tag the Veeam worker, VMs that get spun up when the AWS appliance starts running a backup. So the nice thing about that is when they get tagged up and the tags, you could track them and see when they're up, when they get spun up, how long they run, and what the actual cost impact of running all those workers is. And then when we spin them down and remove them, you can also see that and watch that through the tagging and the reports that come with that. So I think this is really great, really good idea, putting tags on there, using the tags, and actually showing the whole benefit of using the tag on for the Veeam backup for AWS workers. I like this.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for your input, guys, and thank you, Gabriel, for this great article. You made it second time in the recap. Good job. Let's just move further to the third article. Actually, this one is a discussion, and I think it's a great discussion in here that Chris started. And that would be that basically Chris gets us a real case. He's just taking it from one of his customers that is using V12 with latest patches. At least that's what he says. He thinks initially that the customer is using V12, but I think at the end, if you look between the comments, he realizes that the customer was using V11, and that might trigger the issue. The issue might be caused by the customer using V11, but that's something that I want to talk to you about. So he's sending data to one of their DCs with Hitachi HCP Cloud Scale cluster that is very large, and they are sending over 20 petabytes of data to them. And then the object lock, as he says in here, is turned on for some of the buckets, but they are getting a lot of gets, puts, list commands, which is causing chaos on the cluster worker nodes for HCPCS. Now, I see a bunch of interesting comments in there, but like my question for you is, have you encountered anything alike with V12, or do you think the issue is in fact that the customer did not upgrade to V12 and they are still using V11? What do you think?
So I'm glad you put this on the list because I was going to comment on this because I have some opinions on here, and I'm glad we get to talk about it. So first of all, the Veeam default is one block, one meg block, right? And when we push to object, we push it there. We have an index where sometimes we look at the block patterns that's there. Then we create an index of data that's already there, and then that way we're not having to write more data twice, so we're not having to get a lot of puts, right? There'll be some gets and some lists when we make the index. The problem we run into is a lot of these boxes like HP, and also they mentioned further down NetApp storage grid, right? Mm-hmm. They want big block sizes. The reason why they want big block sizes is because there's metadata associated with putting the blocks there when they store it in object. So the metadata gets written, and it's less data in a database. And also when we have to do the reads, right, it's less for them, so they don't have to handle so much IOPS and have to have so much big databases to track the metadata. Which is fine, but we push things in 1 meg blocks. And the reason why we push things in 1 meg blocks is because it makes data retrieval easier, right? But the problem with 1 meg blocks is now you got 4 times as many blocks going in there. So there's 4 times as much metadata, 4 times as much things that have to be read. So some of these boxes that can't handle that, can't work, have a hard time with the object. Then when you put object lock on top of that, right, the blocks stay longer. They don't get deleted. We can't change them, right? We have to read them and write new blocks and do calculations and all kinds of stuff, right? So that it can not cause an issue, but you have to deal with that. That doesn't change between V11 and V12. Another reason, why when you use small blocks is like if you have to retrieve data out of an object repository, and you need a data that's, maybe 500 megs, which is smaller than that 1 meg, 500 meg, which is smaller than the block that we use, right? Or 500K, I'm sorry. You only have to pull that data out a 1 meg block, right? It's only the 1 meg block has to come back and you read that data. If you have to get something out of a 4 meg block, the full 4 meg block has to come down. Or if you use an 8 meg block, the whole 8 meg block has to come down, right? Or if you have data that spans across 2 blocks, then both of those blocks have to come down. So now you're pulling 16 megs back instead of 2, right? So actually, the 1 meg block is an optimization for us. It's easy to fix on the customer side. They just change their backup sets to use the 4 meg block or the 8 meg block, right? And then we can start sending the bigger data up there across that, and that can help with that. The problem you have to know is if you're landing the data first before you're sending it up, like if you're doing a copy job, 8 meg blocks or 4 meg blocks take up a lot more space on the repository because it's harder to compress. So unfortunately, we recommend 1 meg blocks because that's the sweet spot for us, right? And we've tested this on our team, right? Olivier Rossi, who's posted a couple of times, he's tested this, and it's true, and it's an optimization. So what do you do? Sorry, Chris, right? You guys got a size for that. More storage, change the storage, or we have to talk to customer and change the customer has to use bigger blocks and just live with the side effects from that.
No, this is great explanation, Joe. Thank you.
Yeah, the only thing I would add is, there are some object storage providers who do not charge for API. So just throwing that out there as well.
Yeah, I think there was like a comment about the APIs as well. Like one of the comments, I can't remember who was talking about that. So yeah, that's really great. Thank you both for your inputs. So the short answer is like it doesn't have to do with V11 or V12. It's just more.
It's
okay.
It's built in, and I got to say, Chris, good job on this. Right, nice posting this, and the conversations on this have been really, really good. And like I said, I kind of wanted to jump in, and I was getting ready to, and you asked me to be on this. Like, oh, I hope we can talk about this, right? So, fantastic, good pick.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much. Well, before moving forward, I just want to take a minute just to appreciate your Alfred t-shirt, Joe.
Oh yeah, I wore this for you, right? Because I saw the last week you were wearing how much you liked it. I'm like, this is really my favorite shirt, right? I wish this was the official logo, right? So I'm like, I got to wear this on the community recap
and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
that's really great. Yeah, and thank you, Chris, for this article as well. Well, you start the discussion is not really an article, right? But now let's move further and discuss special department news. We have a lot of ground to cover in here as well. And I'm going to ask Safiya, can you start talking about this event that we are going to have, I believe, next week?
Yes, next Tuesday, June 13th, Belgium and Luxembourg, their user group is having their first event this year, I think, Madi. I think their last event was an in-person event in December. So this is their first event all year, so definitely one that you would want to attend. Nico and new VUG leader Christoph will be going over the advanced latest capabilities of V12 and also giving you some tips and tricks on how to secure and harden your servers. If you haven't registered already, you still have some time. I'll be there. Brandon, Joe, maybe if you have some time in your day. It's a bit early for us in the Americas, but still a great event that you would want to attend if you can. So yeah, just wanted to highlight that. Definitely check it out on the events tab on the community page.
Christoph is a new Vanguard legend.
He's a new Vanguard and a new VUG leader.
I got a story about him. I don't know if we have time for that or not, but he was at VeeamON. I'm going to break a rule. I'm going to talk about VeeamON because I'm supposed to wait till you ask me, but I'm going to break anyway because Christoph's on here. I helped teach the VMCA class, and Christoph was in my class, and I did not realize that he was a new MVP legend. He was sitting in the back, and we had some great discussions. And later during the conference, I saw him at the kiosk, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're a legend, right? And he was in my class, right? So that's really cool.
Yeah, that's great, right? It's just like VeeamON offered all of us the opportunity to meet people that we didn't know. We just maybe had like a name in mind or like just like a photo. So it was a great opportunity to network. So, and Christoph is such a great addition as well to our Vanguard program. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, moving forward, there is another great initiative in there.
Huge
VMC.
News. Yeah, the free VMCE courses for women. This was announced at VeeamON. another mention of VeeamON before we actually discuss it, but Danny announced it during the general session, and Federica shared it to the community. So thank you, Federica, for that. Veeam is offering 150 free courses for women across the world for VMCE training, which is huge. Veeam is dedicated to providing a diverse talent pool across the globe. And this, of course, includes women who are underrepresented in the field of IT. So a great opportunity for growth that is being offered here. So if anyone watching, if you're interested or you know any women in your life who would be a great fit for this, definitely check out the link that Federica shared and fill out that form, or just share it around and maybe somebody in your network will find it fitting for them. But yeah, what do you guys think of this great initiative that was just announced?
Absolutely. You know, my wife, I was talking to my wife, she has a master's degree in sonar engineering, and we were talking about this very fact about, how we offered we're offering free classes to for women, right, to bring more engagement in IT, right, and technology. And that was, I love it. I think it's fantastic, right? And my wife thought it was a great idea as well.
Yeah, I think this is amazing as well. I love the culture of Veeam, and I've been here for 6 years, and just to see how Veeam has come together and putting out these initiatives is fantastic. So
amazing. Moving
Should we?
on. Yeah.
Should
Move
we
on to
talk
the
about the hackathon? This is one of
Yeah.
my favorite initiatives that comes from
Yeah.
two of
the
our
hackathon.
vanguards.
I don't say that, Joe. But yeah, the great hackathon that Jonah and Maurice are planning, another great initiative in the community. This will be the first ever Veeam Community Hackathon. On September 28th, for 24 hours, teams of 12 to 18 will gather in groups to create a functioning product that's complementary to Veeam. Like Maurice writes, this is not like an event about hacking, like the name suggests, but coding and building. But even if you're not a coder, you can still participate, and you're encouraged to participate in this. Whatever your specialty is, you can be a part of the hackathon. So if you're interested, I would encourage you to read Maurice's post. It has so much detail about how to get involved in more about the event. You can be a leader, a judge, or participant. So check out that post. It's pretty great. Maurice and Jonah are doing some great work with this. I know Maddie and I have been hearing about it for a few months. Brandon and Joe, you probably heard about it last month when we had the V100 call about this. But what do you guys think? Will you be participating? And
so I've dropped my head, right? Funny story, right? So I was talking to Maurice about this, and I didn't want to do it. I'm not a coder by any choice, but he's like, dude, you got to be your thought leader. I'm like, I'm a thought leader. He goes, you got to do it. I'm like, okay, how can you turn it down when Maurice says you're a thought leader, right? So I'm really excited. So I'm going to be I signed up to be a leader, and I can help with the architecture. I can help with presentation stuff like that. But I've also been actively recruiting for this in our team. I've got one of the guys from our team who's our automation specialist. He actually signed up for this. And I think I got a couple other people from the team who are going to sign up. So I'm excited about this. I think this is great. And I told him, I said, you got a problem that we're trying to fix on our team. Like, we're going to crowdsource it. That's what our team's going to fix, right? So we're going to win this, right? So I'm looking forward to it. Brandon, you join?
Yeah, so I will not be, unfortunately, attending the hackathon. I got some other things going on, but same here. Coding, scripting, is not my strong suit. I do try to do some other things, learning like the Kubernetes and different types of commands. And so I think this is a fantastic for anybody, even if they're not maybe a coder or don't feel comfortable with that. I wish I could be involved, but I won't be able to. But I think it's a great way to just, kind of dip your toes in the water and just try it out and learn a little bit.
Yeah, totally. I agree. We are going to help with organizing the event. So we are called organizers by Maurice. So let's see exactly what are going to be our responsibilities. We are still to figure it out. Because this event is not organized by Veeam. Just wanted to make it very clear. It's organized by our community. So we are supporting as much as possible. And we are also looking into sponsorship. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be some really good prices in there. We're still working on that and helping out Maurice to get sponsors on board.
It'll be a great event. I'm excited for it. Moving on to the last special department news. This post comes from Madalena herself about the VeeamON on-demand sessions.
You made it.
So the VeeamON
Is that breaking the
content.
rule, by the way? I'm sorry to interrupt, but is that breaking the rule? Can you have your own
It's-
blog on the recap?
It's not. I can have one
Okay.
blog. It's not.
She can
It's
do
more like
whatever.
an announcement.
She can do
It's not
whatever.
really a
Okay, I'm
blog, you
sorry.
know. Like.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt, Safiya.
No, you're fine.
But it's a good question, Joe. It's a good question.
Yeah, Joe's clarifying for everyone watching, so thank you. The VeeamON content will never stop at this point, and that's because the sessions are now on demand. So relive the experience of VeeamON, catch the sessions that you do not see on the VeeamON platform. If you missed a session or you want to catch it again, there's a good chance that it is now live on the site. If not now, it will be in the upcoming weeks. I know I've been trying to find a few sessions that have the in brackets coming soon on demand. So definitely check out the link, see what's on there, and see what you want to catch. That there was so much great content. I think, Madi, you highlighted that there was 156 sessions this year, which is crazy. And over 25 new sessions, videos, and presentations are now available online. So a lot of great content to consume and a lot of knowledge that is available for you.
And now I want to ask both Brandon and Joe what was their experience at VeeamON, and if they had like a favorite session. I do know that you both had sessions. So yeah, enlighten us.
So, VeeamON's a little bit different for the employees when we go, right? First of all, I got to say, I've attended every single VeeamON except for the first one in Miami, right? So I've been to a lot of these things, and I absolutely love going to VeeamON, but we really go to work, right? So I didn't have a whole lot of time to attend sessions. My favorite session, if you ask me, was a session I did, Be Road to Hero, with Doug from my team. But anyway, that's the only one I saw because I was participating in it. But I got on there Sunday and Monday. I did the VMCA class, and with Rasmus, I was helping Rasmus facilitate that class. I absolutely love that. That's whenever I go to VeeamON, that's my favorite part, is helping with VMC class, because you get to meet a lot of great people, a lot of great discussion, get to talk about my favorite subject, architectures, right? So I enjoyed that. But also, the fun part for me is the booth, right? I didn't have to work the booth duty upstairs, but I got to work in the playground. I worked the Genius Bar, and that's fun because you get all kinds of different questions from different people and talk about things and talk about Veeam. No pressure. I really enjoy that. And then, of course, hanging out the community kiosk was another thing I signed up for, and made sure I spent a lot of time, and I did that. But to me, my favorite part of all of this was the fact that we brought the Veeam 100 and dropped them into VeeamON, and they did majority of the sessions was all the Veeam 100. And then they were everywhere. Everywhere I turned around, those guys are in the middle of everything at VeeamON. And they brought that community feel back to VeeamON, which is what VeeamON was about when the first 2, 3, 4 events we had, right? And then to bring that back with a Veeam 100 was, to me, that was the highlight of my day. And especially seeing all these guys that we normally see in Prague, to see them in another location, mixed in with everybody, that was my highlight. That's what I love the best.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe. Brandon?
Yeah, no. So I agree with Joe. My session was the best. So I did 3 different sessions. 2 of them were virtual. So shout out to Kristen Stoner and Philip. I'm sorry, I forget your last name. But we did VeeamON monitoring as a service. I did my own service provider console for the enterprise, and I actually got to do a live in person with Michael Los. So he is our senior product marketing manager for the VCSP team, and we did a disaster recovery as a service ransomware resiliency presentation. And I also played a special video, one of my rap songs at the end. So it was,
So you did.
I did. It was a little twist. Then the last thing I'll say real quick on this is, so if you saw the Veeam robot there, I don't know how many of you have seen that episode of Black Mirror where, the killer robot, it kind of freaks me out, but it was really cool to see
Yeah.
Boston Dynamics. And I got to take some pictures, shameless plug, with all of the big Veeam royalty. So it's an amazing opportunity that I had to get to go.
Yeah, definitely. Regarding that robot as well, I was a bit, I don't know, I have like mixed feelings about it. I was just like looking at it and I was like, do I like it? Do I hate it?
It was
How do
dancing
I
at
feel
one
about
point.
it?
Yeah, it's backup.
Like
It's a robot.
Weird,
What
yeah.
could be better?
Yeah.
Right.
But Brandon, what do you
Mhm.
think about doing some rap for us
Yeah,
right
lay
now?
us some sharp tunes, right? Come on, Brandon. No
Yeah,
pressure.
I can do that. So quick little side note. So, well, first of all, I got to say it's an honor to work at a big software company like this, $1 billion company, and be able to be creative and be myself. And the first time I made a Veeam rap video, I figured it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission, and it actually got a lot of great feedback. So I just
He's a star.
I just love the culture. I am Veeam famous a little bit. And if you were participating in any of the lab wars, there was a guy named Carl, the IT guy. You might have recognized him from a Veeam commercial as well. So I did little raps for all of the lab wars as well. But yeah, I'll do a little quick rap about VeeamON, and then I will pass it back. So
I missed on that.
oh, the lab wars raps.
Yeah, I missed on
Yeah,
that. I have
yeah.
not seen it. Too bad, but we have you here. I've been wanting for a long time to have you in the recap to do like a little bit of rap for us. So that's the moment. Go for
Awesome.
it.
Well, the spot is where I like to be, and right now I'm on it. So, all right. So, I kind of pre-wrote a little bit of this, but I just wrote it like 5 minutes ago. So it's freestyle, but it's also, so anyway. All right, just got to get that mojo going. All right. So, VeeamON, a team strong, we did it again. This time in Miami, it's the family within. My Veeam colleagues like Joe, where did Rick Van Over go? I don't know. In the meantime, I'm spitting these flows. Maybe you saw me in Lab Wars, Booth Duty Task Force. Careful with your backups or get what you ask for. I ain't saying no names, but competition is weak. I say Veeam all the time, every rhyme that I speak. Take a peek, get the beta V12 coming next. I can't tell you too much, but we loving the flex. This is Brandon McCoy, so remember the name, VeeamMSP, VCSP. I'm spitting the flame. Anyway, that's my time. Now back over to you. Peace to Anton and Hannes and the rest of the crew.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you for that,
I
Brandon.
think
Really
personally, I
great.
think my favorite one you did was the M365.
Yes,
Right?
that's the video I
M365
have.
rap
I
was
actually,
fantastic.
yeah, I actually put
love
some
that
money
one.
into that and did it at the Veeam office
I
in
liked
Alpharetta.
your backup day rap as well. That was really good.
Well, yeah, I appreciate it, guys, so much. Thanks.
Yeah, that was really good. I liked it as well. Thank you for that. Really great to have you.
Yeah.
Really great to, like to have you doing rap in our recap. I did a bit of rap.
Honor.
Hey,
Okay.
just call me when you need me.
Yeah.
I will.
Maybe like a community recap theme song by Brandon in the future.
Yeah, definitely. We should think about that. Great. So thank you guys. I don't know, would you like to add anything?
I would
Who's
like
new?
to just say thank you for this opportunity. This has been the highlight of my week. I have been so looking forward to doing this. I'm really happy for this opportunity. Thanks for letting me do this.
Yeah, and
Had a
I'll
great
just
time.
add in. Yeah, I'll just add in real quickly too. Again, first of all, I couldn't believe that I'm an engineer at Veeam, and then I couldn't believe that I'm in this MVP program, and now here I am on this recap. So it just goes to show if you put in the work and you get these opportunities, anybody can do this. You want to be an engineer. I didn't go to school for that, and it's just an honor to be here. And sometimes it blows my mind, and I'm very lucky to be here and happy. So thanks.
Thank you. Thank you once again, both of you, Brandon, Joe. Really great to have in the show. Thank you for accepting my invitation. Thank you, Safiya, as well, for being here as a regular. Anyway, you are a regular. Yeah. But you know what? I'm skipping something. I know I'm skipping something.
I was going to say, Safiya? I was like, did we skip this on purpose? Or yeah, we have the Who's New that we do every week. So we can end it off with that.
Yeah, I want to see the new names. That's another highlight of mine. I love watching the names and having a Rick comment on the names. Right. Oh yeah, how many people? 88.
So plus 88 this past week. Yeah.
Wow, this
so
is
thank you all for
number.
joining. Welcome.
Can
to
we
the
pick
community.
out favorite names? So
sure.
Just scanning this mainframe 04, mainframe 04. You gotta love that, right? From the old mainframe days, right? What do we got here? Yeah, Volt 4G3, right? That's easy to remember. I like that name too. Pretty cool. Oh, Daniel Clems. Hey, Daniel Clems is on the central team in Veeam. Glad to see Daniel. Glad to see Daniel signed up. Fantastic. One of the guys I support. Very, very nice.
Seeing Veeam people join.
Happy to see that, right? So yeah, I'm really happy to see the community growing, right? We need to welcome everybody with a big golf clap.
Just
Or
big
Yeah.
round of applause.
Yes.
Glad to
Yeah,
see
I don't know
y'all,
if
right?
CC Concepts is Cloud Connect Concepts, but that's what it is in my mind. So hopefully it's a
Yeah,
little
absolutely.
VCSP shout out. But yeah, it's great to see the community growing.
They
Great to
can
be a part of
they
it.
can
Oh, look,
confirm it in the
Contoso,
comments, you know.
Contoso
So
even
Yeah,
made
so
it, right?
CC Concepts, let me know. You using Cloud Connect
Yeah.
today?
Yeah, look at Contoso, right? If you don't know, Contoso is the standard Microsoft demo accounts. The company that uses Contoso, right? So that's funny. I like that.
Moving
Yes,
on
good.
to the coolest usernames of the
let's
week.
see what
Here we
Safiya
go.
prepared in here for us.
Oh,
Few
you
of them
picked
you,
all you
you
picked.
named,
Yeah, see?
Joe, the mainframe 04, ET, K-Slim, Contoso, I'm assuming the 3 is supposed to be an E, so Aborigine. Let me know how you pronounce that, and Sparky for the 6 coolest users of the week.
Yeah,
Really
Yeah,
great
see?
choices.
K
Yeah, I
Slim.
picked 2 of them. I
you're
got 2 of them right. I got 2 of them right.
Yeah,
See
I didn't
that?
see K Slim. That sounds like a rapper. So K Slim, if you're out there, holler at me. Let's collab.
And
Awesome.
for Alfred's pick of the week, we have voltage. I think that's what they're attempting to do with the 4 and the 3.
Voltage.
So
Yep, I got that.
voltage, I thought that
right.
was the most unique
I
name.
thought
Pretty
that was a
cool.
cool pick too, right? So there we go. I agree. Awesome. I did it. Woo.
Very creative indeed. But now, actually, we had a lot of content. We did the who's new. We haven't skipped it. Sometimes I do that with Rick. We skip it, but today we haven't. We remembered about it. And once again, thank you all for the invitation. Have an awesome weekend, all, and see you next week.